gents, and welcome back to episode 14. I had to double check before we recorded this because we took last week off. It's a nice little break, but we are overdue on stories big time, so we're going to give you a mega episode, at least try to deliver a mega episode this week. Josh, how you feeling tonight?
I'm doing pretty good, and if we're honest, the break was pretty much all my fault. So
I wasn't going to bring it up.
I was gonna blame because I deserve the crap. So, but we can blame Josh for that one.
Okay, everyone, blame Josh. He gave us permission, but we're responsible adults. We'll make fun of you later. Well,
yay.
Let's move on to the actual stories. So the big news story, obviously, is Avengers Endgame, which we called it a long time ago that this would be the title. That'll be our main discussion. So we'll talk about that in great detail later. That's why we're not talking about it now, because that'll be our discussion. Our first news topic was the Captain Marvel trailer, because I don't want to talk nearly as much about that as I do about the Avengers trailer, because I didn't like this trailer either.
So far I've been kind of indifferent to Captain Marvel. Part of that, I think, is just because I want to get to the Avengers. I don't really care about Captain Marvel. But I do think, and I'll bring this point up later in our discussion, but I do think it's going to tie in ways that I don't think we realize quite yet with the Avengers movie.
I do find it odd that she never showed up in the Endgame trailer at all.
Oh, yeah.
But, back to the Captain Marvel trailer, I don't know what it is, but neither of these trailers so far have really wowed me. They're just kind of there. They're not really interesting. I have a hard time getting behind the character of Captain Marvel, from the trailers at least. Like, I know some stuff from the comics, so that's why I'm excited. But for, as a movie, if I didn't know anything about Captain Marvel, I don't know why I should care. I don't know. It just... they're not showing a whole lot, which I'm sure there's reason for that. I wouldn't be surprised if there's some big secrets, especially with the Skrulls involved. But
yeah,
what were your overall impressions of this trailer? Was it better than the last one?
I don't know. I really
Do you forget the last trailer?
I'm so indifferent to both of them. It's hard to really like.
Well, I'll say this one's better, just because you got nowhere to go but up after that disappointing first one.
Fair. No, I'll agree. And maybe I like this one better more because we see a little bit more of her powers, which it's not much, but still a little bit more, I guess. I don't know.
How are you feeling about the Nick Fury cat joke, the cat scene? At the end of the trailer when Nick Fury's like playing with some cat or whatever.
Yeah, I don't... technically speaking, I guess you could... No, that's DC, never mind. I was going to connect it to a later news story, but that's not going to happen.
It is not Clarion the boy wizard with his cat.
Well, I was going to say Zatanna. I was going to say that it could be Zatanna, but that's a whole other universe entirely. I don't know, man.
Oh, okay. I've seen some theories out there that the cat that he's playing with is a Skrull, to which I'm going, okay, you're digging way too deep into these theories, guys.
Yeah. Well, that's, I think, part of the cool part about the Skrulls that I've always wanted. I've always wanted them to come around is because they could be absolutely anybody.
Yeah. In your opinion, I have a couple thoughts. Give me a quick, top 3, top 2 picks who you think in Captain Marvel may end up being a Skrull.
The cat. The old lady that she fights on the train.
Okay, that one's a gimme.
See, but it's gonna be funny if it's not a gimme and it's just an old lady who happens to really hate Captain Marvel.
That would be. I would love that, but that's not going to happen.
No, it's not because they don't have the balls. I'm trying to think. I can see them throwing in a Fury, there's a like a twist scene with Nick Fury when he turns out to be a Skrull.
I could see it. He's one of my options. I think.
Yeah, because
Nick Fury.
I mean, they could totally be like, yeah, like because Captain Marvel's not going to know that he's supposed to have an eye patch.
Yeah, that's true. I have another Skrull theory, but we'll get to that in the main discussion. But
yeah, I think I know where you're going with that too.
There's 3 candidates that I think they might be Skrulls. Nick Fury, obviously. Jude Law's character. I don't think he's actually Captain Marvel. I think he's a Skrull. And the one that I'm actually going to put the most amount of money behind that this person is a Skrull, Agent Coulson.
Yes.
Because
I don't think they won't spend the time to explain why he's there.
Well, I mean, it is 95, so he hasn't died yet in this timeline. But I think, remember that line in Captain America, the Winter Soldier, where Nick Fury says something about the last time I fully trusted someone, I lost an eye. Well, what happens if he trusts Coulson? That Coulson.
Actually, I wouldn't mind that.
And everyone already has this pre-attached attachment to Coulson, but what if it's not the Coulson we know that comes later?
Yeah. The tricky part will be to make it obvious enough to us as the audience that this isn't the Coulson that we knew. Because
or don't make it obvious. Make it a big plot twist.
Well, yeah, but we don't necessarily have a lot of interaction with Coulson film-wise to really gauge, like, oh, no, that's not something Coulson would say.
Yeah, that's true. But I think if you do this Coulson plot twist, it doesn't disrupt anything in the main, either Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. or the main MCU timeline. It doesn't mess anything up. I think it would be a nice twist of, oh, you know this character? No, you don't.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, those are just kind of my theories about Captain Marvel. I have other Skrull theories, but they play a much larger role, and we'll talk about that in Avengers. I like this trailer more than the first one, but still, I'm having a hard time getting on the Captain Marvel bandwagon. That being said, there's going to be some important details about this in Endgame, so I'm sure I'll see it. Just not that enthusiastic yet. The trailers have been that interesting to me.
Yeah, it almost feels like Marvel is kind of like, well, you're going to have to see this movie for certain details and that are going to pertain to Endgame. And I don't appreciate that.
Yeah. However, if you want to talk about a good trailer, Godzilla King of the Monsters. Holy crap.
This is a fantastic trailer. Dude, I was already stoked for Godzilla 2, but now, totally down.
Like, everyone looks amazing creature-wise. It's promising a whole bunch of action, and I actually believe them when they say they're not just going to cut away to some news feed this time around.
Yeah. Well, because it's going to be really, really hard to now that there's so many of them.
Yeah. Creatures that they're going to have in this, like King Ghidorah, Rodan, Mothra, and Godzilla himself. But now I'm very much like, okay, I can see where this is going, especially considering not all these Titans are walking out of this movie alive. Mark my words.
No, totally not. Godzilla definitely has to, obviously.
He's fighting Kong in 2020, so of course he's making it out alive.
Exactly. Which almost kind of deepens it a little bit, but not really that much.
I don't think Mothra's coming out of this alive, though.
I don't think so either. What's the Hydra-looking one? I can't remember his name.
Ghidorah? Or Ghidra, depending.
Ghidra,
I've heard both ways.
Ghidra. I actually could see him staying alive. He's just...
staying alive. Yep, I went there.
You did. I don't know, man. I don't know enough about the Godzilla world and the monsters that exist in it.
Thankfully, really I do, thanks to a former roommate of mine. Shout out to Akira.
Oh yeah. Yeah, you know what? But like, I'm just down to see a bunch of big animals beat the crap out of each other. And, I
From
really like the line where we're in the trailer when they're like, "So you're suggesting we make Godzilla our pet?" And they'll laugh, ha ha ha, and they're like, "No, like we're gonna be his pet." Like, duh.
yes, I love that
Did we not
line.
learn this from the first? Did we not learn this from the first movie? Like, guys, come on.
Yeah, I completely agree. I love that line. Is it wrong that for this movie I'm kind of rooting for Ghidorah because of how sweet he looks?
Oh, dude, it'd be really easy to make a three-headed dragon look super dumb, but
But it looks
gee,
legit. Not just a three-headed
yes,
dragon, a three-headed gold dragon with no arms.
yes.
But holy crap if he doesn't look awesome.
Oh yeah, everybody looks really really cool in this movie.
And I forget where I read this, but they said somewhere that the creatures that we've seen in the trailers aren't the only Titans.
Yes. Oh, I agree.
I don't need to know
But
any others. I'm fine with the ones that are there and be surprised later.
yeah, exactly. Like you don't have to show me everything now. I think that we're all on board at this point. Um, yeah, I need to go back and rewatch it, but does Godzilla look like bigger, and does the spines on his back look bigger, or is that just my
I
imagination?
think it's a little more pronounced.
Okay.
Yeah, you see it more light up, and it definitely seems more. It stands out more. But that also
Yeah.
could be that we're focusing more on Godzilla this time around. The first, what was it, 2014, 2015? We still didn't see that much of Godzilla, even in the trailers. So it could just be a case of
Yeah.
we're just seeing him more this time around. But he looks legit
Yeah.
too.
Yeah. He does. He always has. I'm excited to see how he's gonna deal with these monsters that are almost three times as big as he is.
Yeah, I love the size difference between Ghidorah slash Ghidra, however you want to pronounce it, and
Yeah.
Godzilla. It's
Oh,
it
it's
seems like
great.
an actual threat to him. And when they run at each other at the end, oh,
Mhm. So, in that, there's a scene in the trailer that's like a big cloud of smoke or whatever, and we see something really freaking big
it's
about to
Ghidorah.
come out of it. You sure? Are
Yeah,
we sure
it's
about that?
if you look closely, it's got the three heads.
Look, man, I was trying to like hypothesize that it was going to be something even bigger, but you know what?
It's not
Fine.
Mecha Godzilla yet.
I can dream, Harold.
Actually, I'm gonna go out on a limb and project a couple years out. If Kong versus Godzilla does well in 2020, the next Godzilla movie will be Godzilla versus Mecha Godzilla. I'm putting it down now.
Yeah, I'm down. You could totally tell the story through Kong and God's and versus Godzilla too, though, and be
And
like, Godzilla somehow portrays the human race, so they build something to fight Godzilla.
yeah, unfortunately, it's not going to be the Jaegers from Pacific Rim because those won't
Yeah,
cross over. As great as and easy as a segue as that would be, but that's a
yeah,
tangent I've gone into way too many times already. But Mecha Godzilla, I think, would be the next logical choice after Kong versus Godzilla. But oh my gosh, this trailer got me so hyped. Even as someone that's not really a Godzilla fan, I need to see this movie as soon as possible. And
yeah.
one last dad pun to finish it off. How many Titans do I hope to see in this movie? 11.
I hate you.
Because Millie
Mhm.
Bobby Brown's in this movie.
Yes, yes, yes. I know.
And that lady from The Conjuring.
Yeah, really. And Millie.
And Ken Watanabe's back.
There's just like this cast is going to be
It's a
great.
pretty
That's
good
I think,
cast.
yeah, it's really solid.
Well, you know what doesn't have a cast anymore? Daredevil, because it's gone.
Oh wow, you're just ripping the Band-Aid off on that one, huh?
Normally, I am the king of segues. This one, I'm just like, nope. Just going right into it.
So, do we think that this is just continuing with the fact that Disney is having their own streaming service, and so they're
Yes.
pulling all of their property back?
Yes.
Or
And the
do
only
we?
reason Jessica Jones and Punisher weren't canceled along with it is because they already have seasons coming up that have wrapped filming.
Okay, That's right, because Daredevil hadn't started filming yet for the next season.
Yeah, it debuted its final season, and then like 2 weeks later, they're like, "Nope, you're done." But yeah, Jessica Jones and Punisher are still filming or have finished filming their last seasons.
Okay.
But once those come out on Netflix, they'll be canceled too.
Yeah, which is unfortunate because Punisher is really, really good.
Yeah.
So we'll have to see what part of me hopes this means that they'll do something with this material over in their streaming service, but I highly doubt that they will.
There's an article I read today that there's an agreement between Disney and Netflix that they can't use Daredevil or Daredevil characters for 2 years after this.
Well, I mean, that makes sense. You don't want to, cancel everything and then oversaturate the market. So that makes sense.
I think Daredevil will eventually show up in the MCU at some point, though.
Oh, yeah, I would, which would be a lot of fun. I think I could see him more showing up in like a Spider-Man movie than anything else.
Oh, I have wanted that so bad. Not so much to see Daredevil and Spider-Man team up, but Spider-Man take on Kingpin. Oh my goodness, Tom Holland versus Vincent D'Onofrio? Yes, please.
Yeah. We haven't really we've never had a Kingpin in a Spider-Man movie.
In a Spider-Man movie, no. But yeah, I would like a mob boss, like a street level type villain for Spider-Man to worry about. Not like a super villain, but like an actual character that you can't just punch your way out of.
Yeah, exactly. And with this next one that's coming, and with Mysterio being the main villain, that'll be a good step up. But then if you're gonna, what?
So, that actually kind of brings up a news topic that I wasn't planning on talking about, but we can dovetail this into it perfectly, like we planned it or something. The day after the Avengers trailer came out, at Comic-Con Brazil, they released the first trailer for Far From Home, but we didn't get it online or anything. But, however, trailer descriptions came out. Mysterio isn't the bad guy, at least at first. He's helping Spider-Man take on the bad guys.
Interesting.
I don't think he's going to stay good. I think it's going to be like a Harry Osborn, but more than likely he's just playing with Peter Parker the whole time, just going out from under him, which is totally a Mysterio thing to do. But apparently, according to the trailer, it's going to be Mysterio and Spider-Man teaming up to fight Hydro Man.
Really? Hydro Man? Of all the people, of all the villains you have to... Well, I mean, maybe you just want to protect some of the other ones.
Protect your A-listers, because no one cares about Hydro Man, so it's fine if he's the throwaway villain.
That's fair, because at the end of the day, it's Mysterio who's going to be there.
I mean, we already had three villains in Homecoming that none of them were particularly A-listers. You had Shocker, Tinkerer, and Vulture.
That's fair. No, that's fair. Okay. Well, although Vulture, you can kind of is more like a B-lister though, because he like upper B-list because he is.
Yeah, he was an original Sinister Six member.
Yeah, so I would maybe have him more up there.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay, that's a nice little detail.
I would love to see Vincent D'Onofrio and Spider-Man collide. Oh, that would be great. But I would like to see what the proper MCU could do with Daredevil. Like, Daredevil always got rave reviews. It was a good show. I was never a fan of the suit, though. I always hated the suit.
I honestly liked the first one, their first little suit, the
Black Ninja one.
I like that better than the one that they gave us.
Yeah, I like the Black Ninja one a lot. That one's the one I prefer.
I was honestly like, if they did that one with. And gave him the sticks and all the rope and stuff, I think that would have been awesome.
I may be a minority here, but if we do ever get a Daredevil, like in the MCU, whether that be on the Disney streaming service or an actual movie appearance, even if it's just for a little bit, I kind of want to see him in the yellow.
Really?
I have always kind of had a soft spot for the yellow and red. Like, I like the red too. That's a classic look. but I've always thought the yellow was pretty cool because I don't know. I have a lot of Daredevil comics, believe it or not, and I have a hybrid of a lot of the yellow and a lot of the red.
Okay.
Whatever, man. I like yellow Daredevil.
I will say, Daredevil might be the only one that I'd be pretty okay with him just having straight spandex, like not an armor suit.
Well, with Daredevil and all the other shows getting canceled, the chances now are better than ever that we get an actual Iron Fist. Not whatever the crap was on Netflix, but like an actual in costume Iron Fist, because I would love that more than I would like to see Daredevil, actually.
Yeah, and honestly, I wouldn't mind a Defenders movie. I think you can really pull that off really well. Maybe not, because I don't think Jessica Jones is one of the original members of the Defenders, if I remember right.
I
I
don't
don't
know
know my
Defenders too
history
well,
that
so
well.
I can't
Yeah,
tell you off
I
the top of my head.
know for a fact it's Daredevil, Luke Cage, and Iron Fist, but I never felt like Jessica Jones was really a part of that. But I would love to see like those three team up because the chemistry I've always seen with them has always worked really well.
Speaking of three, we have not one, but three DC projects supposedly in development. One of these actually has been confirmed. The other two are just rumors at this point, but interesting nonetheless. And I have a mini rant because, of course, I do. But the first one that's actually been confirmed is a Blue Beetle, a Jaime Reyes Blue Beetle, not a Ted Cord Blue Beetle, because there's a difference. There's a Jaime Reyes Blue Beetle movie in development by DC, which actually would be the first Hispanic superhero film of all time, believe it or not. And then we have supposedly a Zatanna movie and a Plastic Man movie in the works. Before I go into my little dichotomy and rant here, what are your thoughts on all three of these projects, Josh? I have a feeling I know which one of these three you're most excited for.
Well, obviously Blue Beetle, and because the Jaime Reyes is the Blue Beetle that I'm most familiar with, and I think a good portion of our generation would be more familiar with.
Yeah.
Especially through if you watch Young Justice.
Jaime!
Jaime! And even really like the Teen Titans movies that are currently going out right now.
Oh yeah, I completely forgot about those.
Jaime, and he's fantastic. He's a very interesting character. You can do a lot with that, and so I can't remember if they've trashed it or not. But is the Cyborg Teen Titans movie still happening?
They haven't officially said anything, but I think it's Gunn. I think it's James Gunn, which means it's out of here.
Yeah,
I recovered. I think that one's dead.
Okay, that was going to be my next point. But if it's dead, it's dead then, because that would be something I could see them tying Blue Beetle and really even Zatanna into is a Teen Titans.
Zatanna.
Zatanna. Sorry.
There you go.
Apparently, I wanted to make it into the guitar player, but Zatanna and Blue Beetle could easily weave their way into a mix mash Teen Titans kind of film.
Ooh, I hadn't even thought about that. I would love to see that as the back door into Titans.
Yeah, because I mean, as much as I love Cyborg, the interactions between Beast Boy and Blue Beetle, Jaime Blue Beetle are way more interesting and way more fun, in my opinion, than the ones between Cyborg and Beast Boy. And just the more stuff you can do with it, and especially if you do the Damian Robin. I'm really just pitching the Judas contract but in live action.
Ooh, you know why I would be okay with that.
Yes.
For those of you listening at home, the Judas contract is very special to me because in Tales of the Teen Titans number 44, which is more or less the halfway point in the Judas contract story arc, Dick Grayson becomes Nightwing for the first time, donning the horrendous blue and yellow costume that
I like that costume. You shut your mouth.
Okay. Which one's more iconic and classic when you think Nightwing? That flamboyant circus boy, yellow and blue? or the fantastic black and blue?
It doesn't matter. You have no room to talk. You like the yellow and red Daredevil.
Fair enough, but notice how in our debate we never once brought up red Nightwing.
So anyway,
Screw red Nightwing. Which brings me to my Nightwing rant, of all things. I didn't mean to segue it, but it happened. Like I said, I'm real good with segues. So, Nightwing rant. Here we go. Plastic Man. Oh, Plastic Man, Plastic Man, Plastic Man, Plastic Man, Plastic Man. Okay. I'm not opposed to... I'm not opposed to a Plastic Man in the slightest. What I am opposed to is Matt Reeves' Batman movie. A whole bunch right now. Because Matt Reeves' Batman movie, which frankly has been in pre-production for over 2 years now, and he can't get off his butt and write the script. His Batman movie that still basically can't get off the freaking ground because he's too lazy to write a story is the reason we don't have a Nightwing movie in development. Because they're in limbo with Batman, they don't know what to do with Nightwing. Essentially is why production on the Nightwing movie has stalled. Chris McKay has moved on to other projects, one of which we'll be talking about here in just a second. He was supposed to be attached to Nightwing, and he more or less says he still is, but he's doing Lego Batman 2, supposedly. We'll talk about that in a second. He's doing a Dungeons & Dragons movie. So by the time he gets around to a freaking Nightwing movie, it's going to be 2022, 2023, and by then, maybe we'll have a Matt Reeves Batman movie. What I'm saying is we're supposed to have this Batman movie by now, but he's taken so long to get it done that's screwing up all these other projects that are relying on the Batman character. So we're getting stupid movies like Plastic Man and Zatanna. No offense to either of them, but there's these legions of fans that want to see a freaking Nightwing movie, and you're not giving them that because one guy doesn't want to give a freaking Batman movie, so we are stuck with Plastic Man and Zatanna, who, honestly, are not nearly as interesting as what Nightwing could bring to the table. Hallelujah. Where's the Tylenol? Yeah, I watched Christmas Vacation like 2 days ago.
See, I thought you were, like, the main point here is that you're just mad that Plastic Man is getting a movie before Nightwing.
I am. Because Plastic Man...
I mean, really, like, if you're gonna do someone, do like Elastic Man instead of that.
If I wanted to watch Plastic Man / Elastic Man, I'd go watch The Incredibles again.
Oh, stop it!
One day,
I'm just saying.
One day we'll get a Nightwing movie. I'm sure of it.
Yeah, sure. Just like we'll have a Ben Affleck Batman movie.
No, that one I've given up hope on. But hey, we'll always have Titans. Okay, before I need blood pressure medication, let's move on to Pixar.
Yep.
Okay, so this was announced earlier Wednesday, our normal recording day. So earlier today, I don't know why I said it weird. Disney and Pixar just kind of said, "Hey, we've got a new movie coming March 2020, starring Chris Pratt, Elaine from Seinfeld. I know she's got an actual name, but she's Elaine from Seinfeld forever. And Tom Holland. It's called Onward. We don't know that much about it, but hopefully it's good Pixar."
So, have you read the synopsis that was presented?
Oh, no, I didn't know there was a synopsis. Look at you with the homework.
I know, right? So, because I saw this on the list and I was like, what is that? I don't know what that is. So, apparently, think with lots of, like, elves and orcs. It's like a magical world, right? But it's like a very suburban, and machines have taken over, and there's machines in place of magic.
So it's bright?
So, yes, but animated. But like not as gritty. So then I guess the plot is going to be these two elf brothers, presumably played by Pratt and Holland, who are going to go see if there's any magic left, which is a very like Pixar thing to do with a story like this.
Let me guess, they're going to discover the magic within themselves?
Like, oh my goodness! I swear, if they make it that easy, I'm quitting. I quit.
Or if they make it so easy, Chris Pratt's character dies because he's a brother, and that's kind of what you do in a Disney movie. Or,
Yes.
he could just cost half the galaxy their lives.
I mean, there's that too.
Not like he
Looking at
doesn't have
you, Star
experience in that
Lord.
department.
Yeah, I'm looking at you. Ugh.
It's totally his fault.
Oh, gosh,
I'm
I'm just so done.
I'm
Anyway,
still kind of hesitant about this. The synopsis
it
sounds
doesn't.
fine, but
Yeah,
Pixar, if anything, they've shown over the past 7 to 8 years they're not untouchable. They've had quite a few over the past few years that are just fine. Finding Dory,
yes,
fine. Incredibles 2, good, but not nearly as good as it could have been. Good Dinosaur.
yeah.
They're not untouchable.
I
So
no,
when I hear
I
a new
agree.
Pixar project, I'm not nearly as excited as I used to be.
Same, especially when I read the synopsis. I know it kind of felt. Go and look at it and read, but see if you can find what I read. It feels like a jumbled mess already. So I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll find out. This is another news story that I thought was super interesting, more or less because of what it implies, which gets me more excited the more I think about it. So every year, the Arrowverse on CW has their big crossover event. This year it was Bob Saget. I don't even remember what it was this year, but it had evil Superman, Batwoman, and stuff like that. At the end of the final episode of this year's crossover, they announced that next year's crossover will be Crisis on Infinite Earths, to which I go, okay, I guess I can watch these 3 episodes, because that is the biggest event in DC Comics history, and I'll be real curious to see what they do, primarily because I have a theory of something that may happen. But before I delve too deep and put my theory hat on, I need one of those. I need a conspiracy theory hat officially
Yes,
that
you
I'll
do.
put on when I record these. Before I put on my conspiracy theory hat, Josh, what do you think about Crisis on Infinite Earths with CW?
I don't care. Like at all.
What if
I
I said
just don't.
what if I said
I have
what if I said I could entice you?
maybe, but listen, I really haven't been a fan of any of the CW shows. Like they're okay to watch, but they always have felt too much like a soap opera and not enough like a superhero film.
Agreed. They cater to a certain demographic and they do what they do well for that demographic. I have no issues. To me, all the CW shows have a 2-season curse. The first 2 seasons of any show are phenomenal. Then it nosedives. Look at Arrow,
Yeah.
look at Flash. But
Yeah.
but
Mm.
so about a week ago, Stephen Amell had a special meeting with a certain actor that got a couple people talking, myself included, that went, oh, is something on the horizon? He talked, apparently, and took a picture for Instagram, because that's what you got to do now. He took a picture and posted on Instagram with him meeting with Tom Welling, also known as Smallville Superman.
Mm. My least favorite Superman.
Primarily because he hated the role.
Yeah, I mean, there's that too.
But this has led to a lot of speculation, especially on my end too, that could Crisis on Infinite Earths be how they introduce Smallville into the CW universe? I actually
Let's
would be
not
okay
do
with that.
No. Well, okay, hold on.
Because it's not
I
in the
see where
same
you're
world,
going.
it's in a
It's an
multiverse.
infinite Earth, so we can have all that stuff be happening without.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Take it, Nathan. You have me enticed.
I love when I get to do that.
Ugh.
So, when I heard that, it immediately got my mind racing. So, the iconic image with Crisis on Infinite Earth is Superman holding the dead body of Supergirl. and screaming up to the sky. I can absolutely see them recreating that panel, except with Supergirl holding the dead body of Superman from Smallville.
Okay.
And that's how Smallville Superman goes out, is saving the multiverse.
Okay. I mean, I don't think he deserves that, but yeah, okay.
Would that at least get you a little bit more interested?
I guess, maybe.
So I
I'm gonna
shouldn't tell you the
grumble
theory
the whole
that
time,
people kind of want Titans and CW to cross over.
Look. No. You keep that away. You keep those shows apart. Titans is actually kind of decent right now. Don't you dare.
Are you caught up?
Not yet. I might do that tonight.
It's like a tennis match. One of us will be ahead, and one of us will be ahead, and we'll be tied. There's only 2 episodes left.
I know.
Also,
what I might do is just not watch, because I'm going on vacation here in a couple weeks. Actually, I'm going on vacation in a week. Ooh. But then I'll just like take some time and just watch it then.
The most recent one from last week you can absolutely skip. It just is more or less just a Hawk and Dove episode, which I like them, but it kind of stalls the momentum of the show to a screeching halt.
Yeah, because the other one, the past couple, we've been like building momentum like crazy. Jesus.
Yeah.
Anyway,
speaking of DC,
of movies that are building momentum,
our last DC topic of the day and our last movie topic of the day, in my mini blood pressure raising rant from earlier, I talked about Chris McKay, who is the director of Lego Batman, which was one of the surprise hits when that came out. I love Lego Batman. Apparently, Chris McKay responded to a fan on Twitter and said that Lego Batman 2 is actually in production, which, I mean, I kind of figured would be the case, but it was nice to hear from him that it's officially happening and they're already working on it.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't exactly need a second one, but yeah, I mean, if the story's interesting enough, like, why not?
What if? Again, I need to dig out my conspiracy theory hat. Who else is in the Lego Batman movie? Dick Grayson. What was the movie that Chris McKay was gonna direct before Matt Reeves became a lazy...
No, this could not be his Nightwing movie.
It is not going to be a Nightwing movie, but Lego Dick Grayson can become Lego Nightwing.
You'll stop at nothing until you get this.
I really will not stop at nothing.
It's going to happen in Titans before it happens anywhere else.
Oh, it's so true. Okay, so for those of you who may not know, who listen to the show, Josh and I record from far away because we live in different states. If we get an actual confirmation or news story about Nightwing, and if we get a trailer one day, like an actual trailer for an actual movie, let's just say Josh and I are pretty far away, but even Josh will be able to hear me scream at the top of my lungs in the streets.
Yeah.
That's how badly I want this.
I'll see it, and I'll just text you and be like, you've already seen it, haven't you?
I'll be like, I may or may not already have it memorized. No, he'll probably just get a text with nothing but capital ah.
Yeah. Either that, it'd be funny is if it just kind of somehow happened for me to see it first, and for me to text you like, hey, you've probably already seen it, huh? And you're like, seen what?
I can absolutely see that happening, and I would hate you for it.
No, you wouldn't.
Yeah, it's true, but I'm not getting off the horse. It's gonna happen one day, and it may be Lego Nightwing, but we're gonna get Nightwing at some point by Chris McKay. And I need the blood pressure medication again.
Let me ask you this: the Dick Grayson from the first one is played by Michael Cera.
Yes.
Do you have him play? Could you have him still voice Nightwing? Because I could see some hilarity coming out of Michael Cera trying to do a serious Batman voice for Nightwing.
But see, that's the charm, is Nightwing isn't serious. So It could probably still work with Michael Cera, too.
It could. I love Michael Cera.
I don't
Jeez.
care who voices him. Now, in live action form, I very much will care. And I still have my picks for who it should be, but animation wise, it doesn't matter.
Honestly, the guy that's playing Dick Grayson on Titans is now my sleeper pick, man. Like he's exactly who I would want right now.
Nah, I'm still pulling for Zac Efron.
Don't even mention that name to me.
Why? Why not?
Because I don't like Zac Efron.
Why? Because he's a pretty boy like Dick Grayson is?
Look, man, he's got hair. I don't, okay? That upsets me.
You can't, because you're follically challenged, you can't be mad at the hairful.
Fair, I guess. Okay.
That just sounds like it should be a shirt. Just because I'm follically impaired doesn't mean I can hate the hairful.
So, this wasn't on the docket for tonight, but I wanted to ask you how you felt about the Sonic poster.
Why?
Is it weird?
Why must you torture my soul?
The only thing that's making me uncomfortable right now, currently, is that he has calves.
Just for that, man. Just for talking about Sonic. When we get to the sponsor, I already have a sponsor for you.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah, but oh my gosh, that Sonic poster. I don't care about this movie. Like, the Sonic fandom has scared me away from Sonic, and I'm not interested in this movie, especially when they said it's a live-action animation hybrid. I'm like, oh no, you know your audience too well.
Maybe that's a good thing, because then they'll
No.
I'm trying here. I'm trying.
There's actually some really good fan art. Oh gosh, I regret saying that.
The fact that you've looked up Sonic fan art is hilarious.
No, it wasn't like fan art. It was like a Boss Logic like reworking of the Sonic poster, and it's so much better. Like, it's Sonic, like, the rings that he collects, it more or less acts as a teleport, and he's, like, coming through the ring, and it looks so much better.
Sure.
Alright, I'm busting out the big guns.
Sonic has calves! Sonic has calves! Why?
We're talking about Avengers now. We're going to segue into our main discussion, but before we do that, this week's sponsor, Just for Men.
Oh, that's mean. Even though Just for Men is really for people that are gray-haired, not for balding people. So take that. Take that.
You brought up Sonic into this, man. Now we're going to talk about sadder things, like all the dead Avengers.
I don't know.
Or,
it's not really that sad. They're all coming back anyway.
Yeah, that's true. Or my theory, the ones that will die, like Iron Man.
Yes, he will.
So,
he's dead.
First of all, before we go into our conspiracy theory hat wearing mode, what'd you think of the trailer? First of all,
I actually was blown away. I think I texted you when I watched it because
you really liked it.
I actually really liked it, and you know me.
You hate Marvel.
I hate Marvel. I want them to like choke on a big old ball of spit. Like, go away. But I had other words I was going to say, and then I remembered our PG rating. But I just, it got me hooked. Especially the line from Captain America, and when Black Widow's like, Steve is going to work, and he's like, yeah, he will, because I don't know what I'm going to do if it doesn't. Like, it just, to me, it got me excited. Like, okay, they have a plan. I don't know what the plan is, and it's probably not going to work. But interesting. Okay, I'm down. Also, seeing Hawkeye be kind of like a weird, like super cool ninja was kind of cool as well.
So, I thought it was fine. It was the definition of a teaser trailer. I think if it wasn't an Avengers trailer, people wouldn't be talking about it nearly as much as they do.
Fair. Fair.
I thought it was fine. I thought it was weird how much they focused on Iron Man, but I have a couple thoughts on that once we get into theories and discussion. But for now, we're just breaking down our initial thoughts about the trailer. I like that it has this like dour tone to it, like really we lost big time. But it ends with that Ant-Man thing of there's some hope here, just the right amount of hope, and I think it's false hope.
Oh, I agree.
I'm real excited to talk about that theory.
Oh, I want to blurt it out so bad right now.
What's your theory?
He's a Skrull.
Yes! I'm not alone in the universe.
Ant-Man is totally a Skrull. There's no way. Get out of here.
I think Ant-Man came back. He didn't come back. He's still stuck in the quantum realm, and some Skrull has some technology that makes people think he's Ant-Man.
Yes. Well, no, Skrulls are notorious for the shapeshifting.
Yes, but Ant-Man would be easy to replicate his powers because he's tech-based. He doesn't actually have superpowers. He has a suit. Right. So he could shapeshift into Scott Lang and then use the technology that Ant-Man uses to fool people into thinking he's the actual Ant-Man.
That's true. Yeah. So, he's totally a Skrull.
I'm so glad we're on the same page. Guys, we did not discuss this ahead of time. I'm just... that's nice to be in unison.
Yes,
it also feels weird.
I saw, so since we've kind of talked about the trailer, I guess we'll just go ahead and go into the main discussion. I am hoping for a hobo Hulk.
A hobo Hulk?
Yeah. Beard and like long hair and stuff like that.
Okay. Not like actually homeless.
No. We call him Hobo Hulk because, like, what else do you call him? He's got a beard and long hair and looks like a hobo.
Okay.
You call him Hobo Hulk. No, because he's like, that Hulk is really interesting. It just, I don't think they'll go with it just because Bruce can't get Hulk out of him for some reason. And they haven't really
the crap beaten out of him by Thanos.
I mean, no, but like, to be fair, like, that doesn't, like, Hulk's not a scared person, so that doesn't make sense. I don't know. They better explain it more, in my opinion. This is, I guess, my bias against Marvel coming back out, because that's a detail I don't like. Because the Hulk is fearless and angry, and there'd be no reason for him to be like, for Bruce to be like, nah, you're going to be the Hulk, and him be like, no. Unless he's blaming Banner for it. But even then, it just, I don't know. Can we talk about the fact that Thor looks like a really depressed hipster in this trailer?
He looks like he just came out of 8 Mile.
Yeah. It's just like, what is...
Oh my god. He's literally a rap god.
I hate you.
I'm so proud of that one.
I'm saying everything you stand for. I think it'll be interesting too to see who's left, because I personally don't remember who all makes it, and I don't think that they really confirmed who all is still alive.
I can remember some of the names, but what I liked about the trailer is they don't say dead; they say missing. Like you see on the board. Peter Parker is missing. Scott Lang is missing. Shuri, which is something we didn't see, is missing. However, I don't think she got snapped. I think she just went underground.
Wait, which one?
Shuri, Black Panther's sister.
Oh, yeah. I can see that.
I don't think she's gone. I think only Black Panther's gone.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, to be fair, if I saw my brother like disintegrate in front of me, I would go underground too.
Yeah, probably. What did you think about Iron Man's role in this trailer?
So I like that he's accepting death. and I love that it's almost like a tender moment between him and Potts without her being there. Um, Especially the line where he says, "I'll dream of you. I always do. It's always you." Like I really like that moment because in some ways, it takes this Tony from all these different movies that we've seen him in, who's kind of become like this hard, like almost not even recognizable from even the first two Iron Man movies. They're a completely different person.
Which has made me
And
not like him. I've actually, as the movies progress, I like Iron Man less and less to the point of, honestly, and this is my hot take, if Iron Man dies in Endgame, I won't care because of how
yeah,
much he's changed. However, I have enough faith in Marvel that if they do more or less kind of give him a face turn, because he's turned into almost a smarmy heel in a sense. If they do
yeah,
give him a face turn, I can see them pulling it off well enough.
I, we'll see. We'll see. A lot of that's going to depend on whether or not he makes it. But
Yes,
then
I have
again,
two theories
it's
with that, especially with
yeah.
the ship. Um, the
Who do you think
first,
picked him up?
I don't think anybody picks him up actually.
Really?
So I think it's one of two options. The first one, they all go back in time. Think about it like Back to the Future. There's two timelines. There's a everything sucks
Mm-hmm.
timeline, which is the current, and then there's the past. I think present day, current, everything sucks Tony dies on that ship alone and by himself. But back in time, Tony is there to help to undo the future mistakes because Cap and a couple others go back in time. Or the more likely option, no one saves him, but Tony saves himself. Because there's some interesting parallels between the beginning of this trailer and Iron Man 1, where it all started. Him wearing just the tank top with the arc reactor shining through, all by himself, having to build something essentially in the middle of nowhere to try and find freedom. Tell me that wasn't done on purpose.
That's okay. I'm iffy about the time travel thing, the timeline thing, but I can see. You got me on there on that
Also,
with
where the
that
heck is
kind of
Gamora?
imagery. Gamora's dead.
No, she's in the trailer, and remember, she's with Iron Man after the snap. So she's alive and with him, and he's just like, I'm all by myself. I want to see there's a scene where Gamora's just like, no, idiot,
Wait,
I'm right behind you. Pepper, I'm all alone and dying. Idiot, I'm right here. I'm going to save us.
Gamora?
I'm all alone, Pepper.
Gamora.
Yeah,
You're
Gamora's there
talking about
with him.
Gamora. Gamora, the one that Thanos sacrificed?
I'm an idiot. Nebula's with him. Nebula.
Oh man.
Nebula,
Yeah,
who will be
Nebula.
the biggest and most important character in Endgame, mark my words.
Oh, I guarantee.
More so than Iron Man. Yes, Doctor Strange kept Iron Man alive because it was one of the 14 million possibilities. However,
Yeah.
I don't think it's Iron Man that's going to ultimately be the hero. It's going to be Nebula.
Yeah, no, I agree.
However, I have a fear as well. And I hope with everything in my being that this is not what happens. But I can see it being an option that they keep Tony away for most of the movie, so he has his journey of self-discovery, and ultimately he comes back to the team, builds his own Thanos Buster suit, and defeats Thanos.
That sounds so dumb.
You could see it happening, though, of
Yeah.
Thanos, Iron Man, one-on-one, one more time, because they more or less had that one-on-one confrontation in Infinity War, and there seems to be this weird connection between the two characters that they seem to imply has been there the whole time since the first Avengers. But because this whole franchise seems to revolve around Iron Man and Robert Downey Jr. because he's the one that started it all, I'm worried they're gonna have him be the one that ends it all and be like, with the help of my team, which Iron Man, Avengers has never been Iron Man's team. It's been Cap's team. It's been there's never really been a leader, actually. But if they just have Iron Man come out with a special Thanos-busting suit, or heaven forbid, Iron Man makes his own Infinity Gauntlet to beat Thanos, I'll be real pissed.
Yeah, because even then, like the Hulkbuster suit didn't really work that well.
Yeah,
Like
that had a specific purpose. That's fine. Temporary restraining.
I guess I just don't.
But yeah, you could see it happening.
That's what pisses me off, is that I can totally see it.
And they'll be like, look at how cool this is. And Iron Man and Cap have a great moment together, fighting Thanos together as a team one last time. Like, no thanks. I'm good. If you really want to pass the torch, which is frankly what you kind of need to do with this one, because this is everyone's swan song from the OG Avengers, more or less, have the new guys that have been snapped, have the ones that got snapped, be the ones that defeat Thanos.
So my question, of course, as always,
naturally,
I think I've asked this before, is where are they snapped to? Because I don't care
Soul
what
Stone.
you say, they have to go somewhere.
Soul Stone.
Like, they're in the Soul Stone.
I believe so, yes.
Okay.
That includes Gamora. The actual
so
Gamora, not Nebula Gamora.
Yeah. They would have to, because she was sacrificed for it. But
I hope they're all stuck in the Soul Stone beating the crap out of Peter Quill.
Oh, God, yes. But see, okay, so then the question is, if that's not the case, then where did they go? Because you know as much as I do, especially because of how each stone is, like, matter can't just go anywhere, can't just dissipate. It has to go somewhere.
They went to Limbo, which means Fox. Okay. So, since she wasn't in the trailer, what do you think the role for Captain Marvel will be for this? I can see a lot of different options, and clearly they're trying to set her up as a big piece to Endgame, and she's a character that Kevin Feige really, really loves. Where do you see her fitting into this overall puzzle?
A lot of it's going to depend on what happens at the end of Captain Marvel. Because that takes place in the 90s, right? So then where has she been this whole time?
Yeah.
So if you're going to sit here and say, well, she's just been flying around in space. So she didn't hear anything about Thanos, even though apparently the entire galaxy has been nervous about it. Like, whatever.
Yeah, I think they've put it in a hard spot with her character. This could just be me, but I can absolutely see her character having as much impact on the story as Doctor Strange did in Infinity War. Like, definitely is impactful, but isn't the actual MVP or one of the main players. Like, Doctor Strange is very much heavily involved, but I don't think he's, like, one of the A-list people that's responsible for bringing down Thanos. The only reason he's as integral as he is because of the Time Stone.
Yeah. I agree. I don't know. Or they paid Benedict Cumberbatch a ton of money, so he had to get more screen time.
I mean, more Benedict Cumberbatch screen time is never a bad thing, unless it's the intimidation game.
Fair.
Did you find it weird that there's only one shot of Thanos?
Not at all. Not at all. And
really?
That's only because the only shot we get is really of him kind of like walking through the flowers like, man, I did what I always wanted to do.
And has a scarecrow in his yard now.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Like, it's exactly what I would expect Thanos to be doing.
So, something that's kind of been stuck in my brain that I've been racking my brain trying to think how it can be incorporated is, Do you remember in Captain America: Civil War at the beginning, Tony's talking at that college or whatever, and he has those like almost like VR glasses that kind of like recreate scenes around him,
Yes.
barf or whatever. So the Russo brothers said that's gonna come back into play in a big way. So I'm kind of thinking that's gonna be integrated somehow in Endgame, but I'm scratching my head as to how. Any thoughts?
No, none, because that's such an obscure section of the Iron Man movies to bring back.
But
Like,
nothing in Marvel is coincidental unless it's one of the things that they want you to forget. In which case, I think that's a video I need to do at some point is just stuff Marvel wants you to forget about the MCU. Like all of the Incredible Hulk and the end credit scene for that.
yeah,
But
I
I could see
I
them
don't
using
know,
Barf, but I
man.
don't know how. Like how they would use that to defeat Thanos. You watch, we'll come back to this episode this time next year and we'll be like, well, it was so obvious and we'll hate ourselves for
You
it.
know, so I'm thinking about it, right? Okay, um, I've seen bits and pieces of the animated Avengers show where they fight Thanos.
Yeah.
Okay, um, and Tony in that show uses misdirection for Thanos to use the wrong stone at the wrong time, kind of thing,
Yeah.
or the right stone at the wrong time, and it kind of tricks him in that way. Well, if that's the case, then maybe get Thanos in a situation to where he perceives the reality around him as different than it is. I don't know.
So,
I'm having to like really pull a lot of crap out of my butt just to figure out
oh no, no, no.
how it
Tag
would
me in.
work.
Tag me in. I think I got it.
Okay, go for it. Tag.
Okay, so Thanos in Infinity War, almost called it Endgame, but that's the next one. In Infinity War and in Thor the Dark World, the one that we don't talk about, there's the reality
Yes.
stone. Thanos uses it and it twists reality. Well, what if Tony's like, I don't have the reality stone, but I have something that can alter our own reality in a sense. So he uses
Okay.
his own version, a Tony version of a reality stone like device to trick Thanos somehow.
Yeah.
Like there
Hmm.
might be elements of different Infinity Stones that we don't know about. Like the quantum realm is beyond space and time. So that's the time element. Clearly, time travel is going to be involved in some capacity. I don't know how much you know about the behind the scenes, like on set photos and whatnot, but
Yeah.
I'm not going to go
I
into too
don't
many
really know.
spoilers for those who want to remain clean. But time
That's
travel
me.
will absolutely be involved with Endgame. I'm not going to tell you to what extent because I don't know. I've just seen some pictures that made me go, "We've
That
seen
annoys
this
me.
before."
That annoys me a lot.
Depends on how it's done. There's some rumors that say that Thanos may not even be the villain in Endgame because it's not in the same timeline.
I don't want multiple timelines. Please, let's make this 3-hour movie even more confusing.
Now, I'm hearing also some conflicting reports. Do you think there's going to be a time jump between Infinity War and Endgame?
Yes, absolutely.
Really?
I don't. I see no reason why the world literally collapses because half the planet is gone. Um,
The
I don't.
only thing that makes me shut that down is Tony on the planet, like on Titan or whatever, on the crashed Benatar, the ship. Like that seems pretty recently after the snap, not 5 years like some people are implying as rumor. I would
Well,
much
yeah,
rather there be
yeah,
a time jump and actually see the effects of people being gone.
well, I still think we're going to see that with the discussions between Black Widow and Steve. The reveal of Hawkeye as some like weird ninja.
Ronan,
I wrote in. It's gonna happen finally. I'm so excited. It's my only.
he
It's
looks
the only.
awesome.
It really does, and it's the only version of Hawkeye I actually like. But There's definitely going to be a time jump.
What if, in addition to Ant-Man being a Skrull, Hawkeye's a Skrull, and him and his family both got snapped?
There'll be no way for us to know.
Exactly.
Stop. No, you got to
And
cut that
that's why
crap
he's a
out.
vicious killer now.
Stop.
Dude, now you're going to be thinking about it. So, okay. It's a different kind of theory making, but give me kind of like a checklist of things that you want to see happen in this movie, kind of like your fan wish fulfillment. If this is the final be all end all Avengers movie for the OG cast, what are some things that are still left on your Marvel fan wish list that you have not seen yet that you want to see in Endgame?
Okay, assuming that I care, which I don't.
You care a little bit.
I do a little bit, but like, I wouldn't
Grumpy
mind
old
seeing.
curmudgeon.
I know. I'm just this grumpy old man that's like, I want my DC. Blah, 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 blah. But I wouldn't mind seeing Bucky finally pick up the shield as Cap. But they're probably keeping him, and he'll probably be eased into the next phase. I'm trying to think, man. Really, because so OG cast is you would consider, but like Chris
Cap,
Evans, Chris Hemsworth,
Iron Man, Black Widow, Thor, Hawkeye, Hulk.
I don't know. Hulk, I don't think is done, but
No,
I could be
probably not.
wrong. They really haven't done enough with him for him to be done. Thor, I can see being retired in some way, but I don't know because Thor's a god. So how do you explain away that he's not around anymore? Chris Evans, I need him to die.
Really?
Like, I need him to die. Not like I want Captain to die like really bad because I hate him. No, because like in order for Bucky to properly take over, Chris Evans cannot be around anymore. That Steve Rogers cannot exist in that world.
So, I can think of like 3 things off the top of my head, and all 3 of them actually have to do with Captain America of all things. Shocker.
Yeah.
One of them, without dipping into spoiler, this isn't a spoiler. I'll go with the one that isn't a spoiler because I know for a fact it's happening in this movie. I've always wanted to see what a live action version of the classic chainmail style Captain America suit would look like.
Ooh.
And we're getting it.
Of course.
There's been some leaked photos. He'll have a new suit.
Of course.
And I'm not going to lie, it looks kind of amazing.
Yeah. Well,
it actually looks just like the comics, but it doesn't look cheesy or dated or anything at all.
Well, that's good.
The other 2...
What are your other 2?
The other 2 I can fully see happening, absolutely. But we don't have any confirmation that they actually will happen. But they've been set up in previous films that make me think it will happen in this one. We have Captain America wielding Thor's hammer.
Yes, that needs to happen.
I think it will. And Cap says, finally, after 10 freaking years, Avengers assemble. Just picture it, man. Even you, the most cynical, heartless man out there. I don't know why I went heartless. That was a little uncalled for. I'm sorry.
Yeah. That hurts.
Imagine all the people that I got dusted and snapped all come back to life. There's a big, huge army of all the greatest Marvel heroes staring down Thanos, Cap leading the charge, and before they charge, Avengers assemble. And they all charge towards Thanos. And then you have the Avengers theme in the background. Dun, 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 dun. Instead of the rotating circle of the original 6, you have a rotating circle of everyone with Cap at the center. Avengers assemble.
That would be a good moment. They need, like I said, he needs to die. He has to in order for Bucky.
Way to
I
bring us back down to reality.
I know, but like that's my point though. Is like he has to die, but he can't just be like, well, he went out like a Thanos just kind of like slapped him and he flew into a tree and now he's dead. Like that can't be it. Like he's got to go out like that, like in a blaze of glory. Maybe he wields Thor's hammer
To buy the team some time.
yeah, exactly. To buy the team time, or even as the final blow. But the cost of using the hammer, it destroys him as well. Because he is like at the end of the day, he's still human, so it's not like his body can take the lightning. But
Yeah.
I don't know. At the end of the day, he has to pass in order for Bucky to take over, and really, like you've got to send him out in the best way you possibly can.
So
Because at the end of the day,
suggested
Steve Rogers is the strongest character in that team.
someone suggested, and I'm like, oh gosh, please don't do that, you heartless soul. This is how Captain America goes out. He fights Thanos. He's doing okay, but Thanos then uses the Reality Stone to strip Captain America of his superhuman serum and makes him just that scrawny guy again. And Cap keeps trying to fight Thanos, and Thanos just beats the crap out of him within an inch of his life. And he's like, so this is how the soldier dies. Do you want to keep going? And Cap gets up one last time. I could do this all day before Thanos kills him.
See, but like as sad as that would be, like that's how Cap needs. Like that kind of stuff is how Cap needs to go out. Like true to to his character, sticking to his guns. Like I just that's how that needs to happen. If it doesn't happen like that, I'm gonna be mad now. Thanks, appreciate it.
I'm gonna give one last hot take on Captain America. This is contrary to things that I've said for 5 to 6 years now. Cap's not dying. Yes. Are you picking your jaw up off the floor? I, of all people, am saying Captain America is not dying in Endgame.
Okay, I'll hear you out.
I think we use the time travel that we're going to use to go back in time to undo the mistakes. He's going to go back in time, and his story is going to end with him going back to be with Peggy and get that one last dance.
No. No.
And then you can have your classic Captain America stories of him fighting off Nazis in the 40s and 50s, just like his comic origin was. All those stories. He's allowed to keep living the rest of his life in that time period with Peggy. And he doesn't interfere with the rest of the timeline in our future. We don't say goodbye in death, but we say goodbye in our timeline to Captain America.
I'm going to say no, because I want nothing to do with time travel. I can't. I just complicates
also, you're not emotionally
everything.
ready for that. I came from my girl's one last dance.
I mean, I'm with you. However, screw off. Go away.
So you think? Well, I agree. Bucky's probably going to be the new Cap, but it's a matter of will Cap die or will he voluntarily give up the shield?
Yeah. To me, Bucky seems like the natural successor, but I also know that Falcon has taken up the mantle as well, which I'm not a fan of. I really don't want that to happen.
From a thematic standpoint, I don't think Falcon makes a whole lot of sense. They've really been building up Bucky and his overall story arc to make him the new Captain America, more or less. As much as I love Anthony Mackie and would love to see him as Captain America.
To me, it's always been weird to see Falcon flying around with the shield, because it doesn't make sense for him to need the shield. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, let's wrap it up with like a really out of left fields. Our Super Bowl predictions. What happens at the end of Endgame? Not how do they defeat Thanos. What happens after they defeat Thanos? Like mid-credit scene, post-credit scenes. You know I've had one for quite a few years now, but it only got stronger within this past year. Before I go into mine, what do you think is the future of the MCU and the future of the Avengers after they defeat Thanos?
Well, they've acquired the rights, so Galactus and Silver Surfer.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that's the only logical place I think I can go. Either that or Namor, but Namor isn't that big of a deal. I don't know.
I think, yeah, Galactus is still the one that I've been saying for years is going to be their next big guy. They're going to be building up Galactus like they built up Thanos at the end of Avengers. I don't think we'll see Galactus. We'll see Silver Surfer, I think, will be the end credits. However, this is the first time I'm actually going on record saying this. So, you're special.
Well, no, I'm so good.
My plan B, if it is not Silver Surfer, it's Doctor Doom.
Okay. I'll be down with that.
And we won't see Doctor Doom. It'll be a reference to Latvia or the Fantastic Four.
Okay, maybe. I can see that. I think, I'm thinking about it now. I wouldn't mind if the next Avengers movie, their first adventure out with this new cast, is someone small and just hint at the big stuff, like they
Ultron,
do.
Essentially. You need your mid-level guy before you get to
so
the big
maybe starting with Namor wouldn't be a bad idea.
Which, ironically, if they come out with Namor now, people will accuse them of copying DC with Aquaman, which I think is funny.
Exactly, which is why they might stray away from using Namor. I don't know.
Yeah, there was talk
Even though he's
Namor.
kind of an awesome character.
They own Namor again. There was talk of using him a few years back, but I think after this whole Aquaman thing kind of took off a year or two ago, those talks have quieted. But who knows? Maybe there's going to be a Namor cameo in Endgame.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll have to.
It's not going to be X-Men. I feel pretty confident saying that.
Yeah, it's too early for X-Men because it's been done.
But how great would it be if one of the films in Marvel Phase 4 is Fantastic Four? It just writes itself, man.
It really does. As long as it's not Fan Four Stick, I think it'll be okay.
I said Fantastic Four, not Fan Four Stick.
I mean, really, Marvel's got to get their work cut out for them at this point because there hasn't been a single good The
Incredibles.
Fantastic Four movie. So no, that's not a Fantastic Four movie. Get out of here.
Fantastic Four shouldn't be that hard on paper to make a movie for.
Correct. It's very simple.
I still said I did a video, how long ago was this? Maybe a year ago, of how they could introduce the Marvel characters. And I still, to this day, say that one of the best ways you can introduce the Fantastic Four into the MCU is via Spider-Man, of all people. So, hear me out.
I can see that.
No,
that makes complete sense.
In Homecoming, there's the old Avengers towers being sold to somebody. It's one of two options. Oscorp, which is probably who is actually going to, or it's getting turned into the Baxter Building, which would literally be symbolic of old heroes are moving out to make way for the new heroes.
Okay.
And the circle
ready?
where the A is now is a circle with a 4 in it.
Yes, that works. Okay. So, if not, let's go with something. I'm going with an end credit scene for Endgame. Okay, it's my pitch. It's not a bad guy. We're not hinting at the next bad guy. We're hinting at the next phase, right? Okay, so let's assume that once they break the soul gem, it brings everybody back. Okay, so under that assumption, everybody appears kind of where they last were, instead of them all appearing in one location. So they're all, appearing, whatever. Then the movie wraps up, blah, 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 credits roll. and then we come up on a room that with like tons of like science stuff, and we kind of scan over the desks or whatever, and then we hear the sound of someone being put back into this reality and out of the soul gem, and we pan up and it's Reed Richards.
Or we don't even need to show him. Like, have a cell phone ringing on a desk. Just keep buzzing, and then you just see an elongated hand reach from out of frame to pick it up.
Yeah, exactly. So like, why does it have to be a bad guy? Just like, let's hint at that stuff, because I mean that's the next direction we're going anyway. So why not?
Literally, just have a wide shot of the desk and show a ridiculously long arm stretching out to grab the phone. Oh my gosh!
Yeah. Oh man, and of course, I mean, it'll work because Chris Evans can now play the Human Torch again because he'll be dead anyway.
Also, Killmonger's dead, so he could play it too.
Yeah, exactly. Oh no, stop that! No, wait.
Hey, he was a good Human Torch.
It's not
I
hard
will die
to
on
be.
my sword defending Michael B. Jordan's performance in Fan Four Stick. He was good in that.
Okay, you're not wrong.
But at the time being, I don't have any more theories. You watch.
Yeah.
Come tomorrow, I'm gonna be like, why didn't I talk about that or that or that or that?
Yeah. I think at this point, and honestly, I mean, it's not hard to believe that before this discussion, I was very much like, the whole series should just end right here. I don't want any more Marvel after this. But with the acquisition of all the X-Men and all the Fantastic Four characters, there is a possibility for a bright future with the Marvel Universe in Phase 4.
Just imagine, man.
That hurts saying I can't.
Just imagine if the main characters don't die, like Cap or Iron Man don't die, they just go off away for a while to make room for these new guys, like whoever the new Wolverine is, the new X-Men, all these new characters like Doctor Strange, Captain Marvel, Spider-Man. Chris Evans and Robert Downey Jr. are away for a lot of years to make room for these new guys. Then, when Galactus comes to town in Avengers 7 or 8, they had to bring in the big guns and bring back the old classics. Oh, the pop that would get.
I agree. However, then you have to explain where they've been all these years and why they haven't brought them in for any of the other adventures.
I don't know. I think people can kind of suspend their disbelief. People still ask where the Avengers were in Iron Man 3, but they still kind of worked their way around it. There's always ways around it. I
guess.
I don't think we have any more conspiracy theory for today, but there'll always be more. I'm sure of it. You got any last conspiracy theories, Josh?
No, none whatsoever. I think obviously we'll wait for the first real trailer for Endgame, and then obviously we'll probably have even more questions.
Yeah. So, in the coming weeks, we will be doing a best and the worst of 2018, like a year recap, which I'm real looking forward to. And then the first episode when Josh and I get back together in 2019, whatever that may be, hopefully January 1st, if not sometime in the new year, we'll be doing our 2019 predictions, because holy crap, 2019 is going to be probably the biggest year in movie history. Not even hyperbole.
Easily the biggest year.
I'm so excited for both those videos and the coming year. We're ramping up for some good stuff. Well, I think that about does it for this week's episode. If you like what you see or hear, be sure to subscribe to us on whatever channel you're listening to us on, whether that be iTunes, Google Play, YouTube, whatever else, man. Subscribe to us there, and be sure to check us out on YouTube if you haven't already at Uncharted Media. And stay sharp, movie guys and gals.